Today, you and I have a very important goal, and that goal is ranking every Halo game intro ever. That's actually not true. I'm lying to you right now because we're not doing the mobile games because I think mobile games are stupid. So take that, mobile games.
Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is one of the most ambitious RPGs.
But also we're not doing Halo Wars 1 and 2 because they're just a different style of game altogether, and I don't think their intros are all amazing. They just don't really fit in with the mainline games, I guess is what I'm saying. And you guys are probably saying right now, well, Centrifuge, how does ranking all the Halo intros happen? How does that work? Well, I'm glad you asked, because how does that work? Well, basically we're going to be taking the intro of all the games, the cinematic, but then also pairing it with the main mission, because that is the true intro to any game. It should set up the story, the characters, the world, the music, and also the gameplay. It should tell the audience member and the gamer what the game is going to be about and set the overall tone for the game. Now, some of these games do it to varying degrees of success. I guarantee once you see the tier list that I'm going to show you that you're probably going to understand where one of those games is definitely going to go. I'll let you decide, but if you figure it out, put it in the comments. So anyway, here we have the tier list. Thank God for tiermaker.com, because I have no fucking idea how to make a tier list. I mean, I guess it's pretty easy, but I'm lazy. Okay? I'm lazy. That the internet helps. So at the top, which is S tier, we have absolutely slaps. Because if something's really good, that shit do be slapping. Come on, let's be real. In A column, we have beefy, because it still may be good. You know, a nice solid chunk of intro, but it may not be as good as S tier, and that's okay. It's still good. Then we have slaps, just not as hard, you know? Still good, but it's kind of like teetering on, it could be better. Getting a little meh. That speaks for itself right there. It's like, it's fine. It's there. It works, I guess, but it's not really a thing. Missed the mark entirely, which is, you can probably figure out what game goes here too, I'm not gonna lie. How about no? No. Scotty, how about no? I don't know if any game's gonna go here, but it's not working. And then just why, which is just why. Just why. It's so bad, all I can say is just why. So how this is gonna work is I'm doing it based on release, not really the timeline, because I know if you're a big Halo fan, you'll know that Halo Reach and the timeline comes before the introduction of Master Chief and Halo CE and so on and so forth. But we're not doing that. I'm just going to do it in release. So obviously we're starting off with Halo Combat Evolved. Judging this intro is going to be incredibly hard for me because it is so ingrained in me, in my soul, in my head, everything. It's just a part of who I am. I grew up playing this game. This game is so good. It's just so good, you know? It's so good. But is it really that good? Well, we're going to find out here. The intro to Halo kind of mimics the intro to Half-Life, but unlike Half-Life, with its really slow build-up and intro to the inevitable invasion of the aliens in the facility, Halo just gets you right into the action. It wakes you up, and you're there to fight the Covenant, and that's what this game is going to be about. You don't know what these aliens are doing, what they want, where you are, there's a giant ring, what's going on. So it sets up the mystery and the story really well, and you don't really get to know a lot of the characters. You meet Captain Keyes and Cortana, but it's serviceable, and it does well to introduce you to the mechanics of the game, like jumping and all that. Plus, it's also an introduction that rewards your curiosity, which also feeds into the rest of the game, because I don't know a single person that didn't get that revolver at the start of the game and then immediately go into the bridge and try to kill people just to see if you could, and the game lets you do it.
What the hell are you doing? Security to the bridge. The Master Chief has gone rampant.
Which says a lot about the game going forward, but we're not really judging that. We're judging the first mission, and the first mission is, I would say, it's classic. A lot of people are going to say it's classic. It is. From you going through the ship as it's being attacked, defenseless, and you don't know what the Covenant are, or what they want, what they're doing. They're just massacring everybody. Marines are running. The music is fucking incredible. Every game in this franchise has good music. All the way up until you get the revolver and you're fighting through cafeterias and slaughtering enemies, and you get that just power increase. You're a superhuman. It's all clicking. But then I'd also say that it's kind of just a rudimentary introduction. It's good for what it is because it's just an intro to the first game in the series, so it is good for what it is. But I'm also not gonna sit here and be like, it's the best because it's nostalgia. It's not the best. It's really not the best. It's okay, but the thing with Halo is that the first Halo is that the first mission is an introduction, it does that well, but the game really opens up and hits its stride in the second mission once you land on Halo. So as far as openings and first missions go, I would say in the tier list, it probably sits in getting a little meh, I would think. People are gonna disagree because, like I said,
It's classic. People are gonna love it. It's classic. But
classic doesn't mean it's great. So if you're good at math like I am, kind of good at math, then you know that 2 comes after 1, right guys? Right? So what are we going to? We're going to Halo 2. That's right, Halo 2. That opening cinematic for Halo 2 is incredible, but not just incredible, it's that it directly pays off the story advancement, because the first game ends on a cliffhanger and then it immediately picks up where it left off, but it doesn't just do that, it adds a whole new layer. What's interesting about the way Halo 2 took its story is that a lot of people weren't expecting the Covenant to be in the main spotlight of the campaign. So immediately in that intro, your intrigue is just dialed up to 11, because you have this dichotomy that's really interesting between Master Chief being celebrated for his victories, and then you have this prolific commander in the Covenant being stripped of everything he had because of Master Chief's actions. So there's kind of like a duality in that is really intriguing, but also in the first game, you never really knew who the Covenant were. Like, you knew what their intentions were because Cortana was pretty much the voice of plot details in the first game. But the Covenant here actually have a face. They have an identity. They have a goal. It really just makes it all the more engaging because you get the sense that these guys are really brutish and fanatical, and they're not afraid to use manipulation to get what they want. They are truly a terrible faction, and you get the feeling here, but you also kind of understand how they work, which also allows you to be a little more sympathetic as the Arbiter progresses as a character. That leads into the main mission, which is you're fighting on a station, which is pretty much just a retread of Halo 1. Instead of fighting on the Pillar of Autumn, a spaceship, you're fighting on Cairo Station, which is pretty much just a huge weapon in space that's also a space station. So it's cool, but it plays a lot like the first mission in Halo 1, which it's okay. It's a lot better because the gameplay is better, but I would say, oh, I'm sweating so much because it's such a hard decision. I would think the intro with the cinematic and everything, how the story progresses into the main first mission, even though it kind of retreads Halo CE, I would say honestly, Halo 2 is such an underrated gem. I know a lot of people don't like it. You people that don't like it are going to be the death of me, okay? It is one of the best Halo games, in my opinion. If my opinion matters, that's cool. But anyway, after Halo 2, you probably guessed it, it's Halo 3. Halo 3 is coming next, obviously. Halo 3 has a great opening, but also it's like Halo CE into Halo 2, where it completely directly ties into the events. It doesn't like skip a bunch of time, so you don't know what the hell's going on. It completely picks up where Halo 2 leaves off. Master Chief took off in space to reach Earth before the Covenant could on the Forerunner ship. Halo 3 has like one of the best opening cinematics because Master Chief falls 40,000 feet from the sky. He's literally an asteroid. His armor locks up, he lands, and he lives. And it's also kind of touching because if you play Halo 2, you know that Cortana is left behind and all that. The opening cinematic is short, it's sweet, it gets to the point, and it gets you in the action. And this time, you're not fighting on a spaceship, you're fighting in the dense jungle that just looks so awesome. The music is incredible. The gameplay gets you right into it because it knows players are familiar with everything. But there's a change now. Arbiter is on our side, the Covenant, the Elites are on our side. That's good to know. So a little bit of time has passed, but not much. And you just kind of get this different feeling, like you're not fighting the Elites anymore, and you can hear the brutes as you're walking through the jungle howling in the distance, which adds a little goosebumps to your skin. I'm not gonna lie. But also it shows just how brutish they are, because unlike the Elites, you see them doing some pretty messed up stuff. Like if you go around one corner in the opening mission, you see one literally holding a Marine above its head that he friggin' breaks his back and throws him off the log like he's nothing. But then the opening mission also introduces you to the gameplay. It's solid. It's a lot better than in the second game, in my opinion. And there's some cool cinematics too, like the Pelicans getting shot down, and it's a decent mission. It's definitely better than the second one, whereas in the first two games, the second mission is better. In the third game, I would say the first mission is way better than the second one because the second mission mimics the first mission in the other two games quite well. You're just going through the same looking corridors, shooting things, you're just not on a space station. So Halo 3's intro continues the saga on really well. On a standalone, I just think it's a really good intro all around. I don't think it's as good as Halo 2's, that may be controversial, but I think it's still beefy. It's definitely an A spot. It's good. But we don't go on to Halo 4 from here. I know, right? It's like, what is going on? It's Halo ODST. Okay, now this is probably a spot on the list where people are going to disagree with me, because Halo ODST isn't the best game in the series. I know it's a spin-off, but it ties directly into the narrative, and I just feel very differently about it than I did when it first came out. When it first came out, I was all over it because I was a Halo fanatic. They could have like bent me over backwards and slapped the crap out of me, and I still would have bought every single one of them because I absolutely just loved them. They couldn't do anything wrong. But as time has gone on and I've matured, see, I have a beard, I've matured a little bit, I realized that it's a good game. It's just not as good as I wanted it to be. I think Halo ODST probably has one of the weakest intros in all of the Halo games. There's one that's weaker. And that's because it's really quick, you don't really learn a whole lot about it, and then you're just kind of dropped into a lifeless city. That's pretty much it. I mean, you don't really even get established to your character all that much. You're just like, oh hey, here's a silenced weapon. Okay, that's cool. And I honestly just don't think that a lot of the characters are all that interesting, and it doesn't establish them well in this intro because you're immediately like, oh hey, there's people, and then they're in drop pods and you're dropping. Now, that part is really cool. In drop pods, dropping over New Mombasa, which you fought in Halo 2, is awesome. I just think there's a lot that just could have been done better, because you wake up after a crash in the lifeless city, and I know it's supposed to be like a noir-esque detective story, and it's supposed to be really intriguing and somber, but I just don't feel like it really hit a lot of those marks, because you're pretty much just Master Chief without a shield. Like, I know they're like, you're gonna be human, you're gonna be weak, it's kind of scary, you can use strategies to get on the Covenant. You really can't, man. Like, honestly, I tried stealthing in this game and stuff, it's not meant for it. They didn't put a lot into this, because it was supposed to be a DLC, and then they're like, oh, we can stretch it to a game and make it full price. People will buy it, and then they can put all that money towards Reach, which ended up paying off. Reach is really good, but I think ODST, good game, introduced Firefight to the series, but man, just walking around that city, I don't know what they were doing. Honestly, like, it's cool to play as an ODST, they just need a better game, if I'm being quite frank. Missed the mark. I honestly think we're gonna go with that. This is my opinions. It's okay for me to not have good opinions. Next is Halo Reach. Halo Reach is so good, guys. I know it's like, a lot of people are like, it doesn't have to Master Chief, it's nice. It's really good. And the opening to Halo Reach is fucking incredible. I think it's got to be one of the better openings to any game ever, because that swell of the intro music of you coming in on that warthog, and there's like wide shot of the landscape, and that music's just kicking in. You know what I'm talking about. You've listened to it on Spotify. Don't fucking lie to me. It sets the tone immediately. It walks you through that camp in the cinematic. You can customize your own character, which is awesome. And then it introduces you to all the cast. And you know what? In this brief introduction, you kind of get the feel for every cast member. Even though the squad is large, you get the feel for everyone. George is like the more timid mommy's boy. And then you got June, who's just a silent sniper. And Carter, who's the guy who cares about all of his team, even though some of them are kind of reckless and he has to keep them in check. You have, I almost said Oatmeal. I don't know why. Emil, the guy with the skull mask that everyone loved before it came out. Everyone was like, oh, it's a skull mask. They were simping. It was a thing. He's cool, but quite frankly, not the most interesting. And then you have like Kat, you can tell is the mouthy one, which every squad needs a mouthy person. So yeah, immediately it tells you what you're going to be doing. There's a down relay. You need to get on the ship. That leads you into the first mission where you're scouting in the air. You're a part of the squad. You feel like you're a part of this squad, but it's also such a long mission, and it introduces you to so many gameplay elements. It does it so well. If you were to put this level on like a graph chart, it would be like bum, 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 because there's just like tonal shifts in it. So it goes from like a mystery to you don't know what's really going on. It's really like calm. You're kind of getting the used to the gameplay and the graphics and settings and everything like that. And then you get the first contact with the Covenant, and the action ramps up, and then you finally get more open spaces where it shows you that you're gonna have like wide arenas where you can drive around in, and there's wildlife. So the world automatically feels a lot more lived in than any other Halo game, which is also a callback to the original demo of Halo 1. They just couldn't have wildlife in Halo 1 because engine limitations and whatnot. But then you also, at the end of that, you have a huge firefight and its seamless transition from like location to location. You get on like a gunship and you fly over these valleys and you land and start fighting more people. It just feels so militaristic and so badass. But yeah, it goes from like mysterious to action-packed, and then you get to that underground bunker, and then like the heavy guitar kicks in, the electric guitar, when the zealot elites attack you, and it's a whole other shift of just badass in a Halo game that you never thought that it could attain. And that's all in the first mission. This mission just has a wide array of everything that checks the boxes for me. I think it's absolutely fucking stellar. Halo Reach as a game, boom. Get it in the cart, bud. It's absolutely one of the best Halo games, and Absolutely Slaps is definitely where it belongs. I don't care what anyone says, it's definitely where it belongs. But then there's Halo 4. This one's a little bit controversial because, man, people hate what 343 did with Halo, and I'm not even saying that I disagree, because it was like Halo 4 for me was like, ooh, and then it got to Halo 5 and it was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then it got to Halo Infinite and it kind of went up a little bit, but then it dropped off because I don't even know what they're doing anymore. But with that said, Halo 4 is a good game, guys. It's time we all agree that Halo 4 is just a good game. Okay, it's just different than any other Halo game, not even like in its artistic designs and music, because it is very much different in that regard, but I'm talking about like the story. As much as it follows, you know, the same kind of tropes like, oh, mystery, sci-fi, and Cortana's there to help you, it's just so much more emotionally fueled than any other game. And the opening cinematic is great for setting up the tone of the game, exactly what it's going to be, and I love that they're interrogating Dr. Halsey, who is a notorious character and one that also isn't well liked because she's kind of a monster, even though she inadvertently saved humanity with her creations. It puts her on trial, it introduces the Master Chief, but it also lends itself to his humanity. It plays a lot on his humanity and Cortana. And that leads directly into the main mission where you wake up, which is funny because it's actually a direct continuation from Halo 3, just like the other Halo games were. It's a direct continuation from Halo 3 into Halo 4 because you wake up on the ship that Master Chief goes to sleep in at the end of Halo 3. And this mission is a pretty solid mission because there's still a lot of mystery and it's all new. It's not retreading the same ground, even though you are fighting the Covenant, which is mysterious because you're like, we had a ceasefire. We're friends now, so why are they attacking? So there's a level of mystery there. But then also when you get onto the deck of the ship and you realize there's a giant planet out there that's weird, and you're in front of a whole Covenant armada, and it's like, what is happening? And Cortana's helping you, but something just doesn't seem right. She keeps glitching, which is also a big part of the story. And there's just so many good set pieces too, like you punching that elite in the face and throwing him off the elevator shaft, but also the Covenant ship coming in to intercept you as you fire a nuke into it, watching it like explode into pieces across your ship. Like, it just looks so cool. The gameplay's so good, the new implementations are good. People may not like the art design, it's kind of iffy, but all in all, it still feels like Halo to me. And also, like, at the end of the first mission, once Requiem opens up, it sucks you in. Come on, like, who isn't intrigued? That I just think I think it's really good. But where does it go on scale? For me, honestly, like, I'm gonna put it up here with Halo 3. I think beefy is a good spot to have it. You may disagree. That's okay. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments below if you disagree, or if you agree with me, that'd be cool too. But whatever, you know, just do stuff in the comments because it's always good. I like engaging with you guys. So then we have a dump truck fire that's actually called, believe it or not, it's called Halo 5. Just why? Just you knew that it was going there, okay? You know, I'm just gonna put it there already, and I'm gonna explain why. So Halo 5, as much as the gameplay was good, probably some of the best in the series, it's a really good gameplay, but the only reason they focus so much on the gameplay is because they wanted to have a competitive edge in esports. That's exactly why they did it, because they came up with a game mode that specifically for that. 343 just didn't know really what they were doing with this. I think they realized they kind of had a cash cow franchise, so they were like, really wanted to profit on it, and that's where the story just took a massive hit, like straight up. Like if I jumped off a skyscraper and hit the ground, that's what 343 did with this franchise with Halo 5. I just realized that may sound really dark, but it's kind of true, because they had a good thing going with Halo 4, and then Halo 5 just takes an immediate nosedive because the intro it's terrible. It's honestly terrible. It's like eating a McDonald's burger and pooping it out and eating it again. Like, it's not a fun experience at all. Like, eating it the first time is not a fun experience, but then you got to do it all over again in a different form. Like, it just doesn't work. And that's because, like, it's a Halo game, but you start off not even playing as the guy who Halo is about. Like, I understand Reach, you didn't play as Master Chief, but it made sense. In Halo 5, it just doesn't. But also, the opening intro to Halo 5 is about a side game mode in Halo 4. Like, it's absolutely terrible. I don't know what they were thinking about this. But I will say that the opening cinematic with them fighting all down the mountainous terrain is so awesome. It's like it could be its own movie. It's so good. It's something you would see in the cinema, and I would totally sit there and watch it and eat popcorn. Like, it's brilliantly done. It's just you don't know who any of these fucking characters are. You don't know who Locke is. You don't care about who any of them are, and even Buck. There's not enough that Buck could do in this game to save it. So, like I said, opening cinematic looks awesome. It's like the highest quality cinematic in a game you can get, but it doesn't make any sense. You watch them go down this mountainous terrain, completely destroying everything, and then you start playing the game, and you're immediately like, I can't do any of the badass stuff that they just did in that intro. It doesn't make any sense. Now, like, they were throwing people out of drop ships and drop kicking them and flipping ghosts and stuff. Like, it immediately just takes away that power fantasy that the cinematic sets up. But then also, like I said, you're playing as characters nobody gives a shit about. Like, why would they introduce the game to this? To take down a villain that you don't even know unless you played a side mode in their last game. Why did they make this game so bad? Oh, I hate 343 for that. It's so bad. The only good thing I can say about this intro is that the gameplay is good. Like, watching two factions go at it, the Protheans and the Covenant go at it, and you can sit there and choose to watch it, or you can jump in and fight. All that stuff is good. The gameplay is really good. The setting is cool. Watching that giant Kraken come over the horizon, the Covenant Kraken that's supposed to be like a replacement for the Scarab. It looks so imposing. It's awesome. There's a grand scale of conflict here that works. It's just, unfortunately, the game does not work. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, the rest of the game is just as terrible as the intro for me. The 5 missions that you play as Chief aren't even that good. So that's where it just... I don't know why it's so funny to me. It belongs there. So last is Halo Infinite. So it's just like all the other 343 games. Some people love it, some people hate it, and honestly, I like it, but I'm also kind of indifferent about it. The intro though is good. I think it's solid. It kind of mimics, you know, Halo 1 and 2's intro a little bit, but that opening cinematic of watching Chief destroy everything, and it feels like you can actually do that in the game. Everything he does in the cinematic, you can actually do in the gameplay. It's a lot more relatable. But then it also shows Master Chief getting absolutely bodied by this giant ape man. Atriox just destroys him, which also shows that, like, oh shit, we're actually seeing Master Chief fail. He can die. He is not invulnerable. He is a human, even though he has higher qualities because he's a superhuman, but he can still die. He can still fail, and he kind of deals with that failure throughout the entire game. You just don't really see it a lot in the intro, but it does set that up. And then you get into the gameplay and you immediately feel like you are the Master Chief from that opening cutscene. You're grappling around everywhere, picking up weapons, throwing canisters at the brutes, and the gunplay just feels so good. The graphics look good. You're fighting the Banished, which feels a little different, but I guess not really from the other Halo games. And they also brought back the classic designs, the art design, which everyone wanted. It looks so good. Master Chief looks so good in this. And yeah, honestly, just overall as an intro, I think it's really good, especially the escape at the end when you destroy the ship and you have to like jump through all the platforms, which is kind of a lot like the first Warthog run in Halo 1 at the end. I think it's really solid. I'm honestly gonna put it up probably slaps, just not as hard, because I think I know I'm judging the intros, but the rest of the game kind of falls apart. But I think the intro to this is really good. Slaps, it's definitely not as good as these 4, but it is really good. And I honestly think, I'm probably gonna catch a lot of slack for this. Oh, excuse me. But I think I like it better than Halo Combat Evolved intro. Even though it's classic, I understand. A lot of people love it. I love it. But, you know, I'm just saying it's not as good as Halo Infinite. So there you have it. I feel pretty confident about this tier list. I don't know if I want to change anything. Absolutely slaps. I think Halo 2 definitely deserves it. Halo 2 is one of my favorite Halo games, but I'm not being biased. I'm legitimately looking at these intros, what they bring to the table. I think this one's good, but honestly, Halo Reach, I feel like Halo Reach is the king. You know what? Honestly, actually, I'm gonna put it to slaps, just not as hard. And I think I'm gonna put Halo Reach as absolutely slaps. Perfect game, in my opinion. I don't know how much you could change to make it work. Halo 3 and Halo 2 are just, I mean, they're good games overall, but the intros are si magnifique. It's so good. So good. And then Halo 4 kind of retreads, you know, Halo 1 and 2's intro, and it's still really good. I love the story in Halo 4, but as intros, I'd say slaps just not as hard. Halo Infinite is definitely slaps just not as hard. Getting a little meh. It's the first game in the franchise. It's gonna be rough. Still good. It's just, when you play through it, it's, you want to get to the second mission. Halo 3 ODST just missed the mark completely for a Halo game, I think. Still good. It's just not as good as I wanted it to be. And then, how about nothing actually made it in there. I'm really surprised. And just, why to Halo 5? Because, come on 343, what the fuck are you thinking with that game, man? Come on. I don't even think the redemption for Halo Infinite works. They messed it up so bad. You did this franchise dirty, you son of a fucking bitch. That's the tier list I came up with. I'm confident in that. I think that's my definitive tier list for intros. You guys, I would love to hear from you guys what you think about this. What is your own tier list? That's most important to me. I want to know what you guys think. But also, if you've played the other games, put them in this tier list too. I'd be really interested to see where they land, because I don't care about mobile games, and I liked Halo Wars 1. I never bought Halo Wars 2, and I don't want to come in here and just be like, I'm adding them in because I'm not familiar with them enough, and I don't think I actually own them. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know if you like this kind of style, this format going, because I would love to do this for more games if you like this. I know tier lists are popular on YouTube. I'm not trying to like cash in on anything. I just honestly think it's a lot of fun. So let me know what you think about this format. I may do more. Thank you for watching. Most importantly, I love you very much. And if you like the video, please comment, share, subscribe. That's the important one too. Share with your friends if you think it's good, if you think they'll like it. I don't know. I have a lot of fun making these videos. So good night and good lunch.